Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got a new video for you guys today, and today we're doing something very different. Today we are jumping into Magic Arena. If you guys have been on the channel for a long time, you guys know I tried to dip my toes in Magic the Gathering, but I had no idea what I was doing. I still kind of don't. But the Final Fantasy set came out, and while I've been picking up cards IRL, I wanted to play right away, and I just couldn't stay away. Especially because of this card in particular. Ardyn the Usurper. So Ardyn is actually my favorite Final Fantasy character. I thought, even though we didn't get much of him in Final Fantasy 15, the base game, he was interesting enough, he was intelligent, he was charismatic, and when he went twisted, he went twisted. But then we found out his backstory and how he tried to save the world and got betrayed by it. Like, I love this character. And once I found out that he was going to be a card, I knew, not to mention the card is nasty. So for anybody that doesn't know what Ardyn does, he costs 8 mana, which is a lot, but that doesn't affect us with the way the deck's built. We'll talk about that in a second. But demons you control have Menace, Lifelink, and Haste. Awesome. Star Scourge, which made me, excited in the pants, because Star Scourge is basically the corruption that stemmed from him, where it turned everybody into demons and made them all serve him. He actually used it to subjugate a god. But at the beginning of the combat, on your turn, exile up to 1 target creature card from a graveyard, either graveyard. If you exile the card this way, create a token that is a copy of that card, except it is a 5/5 black demon. So you always have fuel for this. And it lets you cheat in some of the craziest cards super early. For example, we have Bahamut. He's a 9-drop 9/9. When he's placed, you get a lore counter, which when you get the lore counter, destroys up to 1 target non-land permanent. Then the following turn gets another lore counter, destroys another non-land permanent. Turn 3, he draws 2 cards. Turn 4, he deals a shitload of damage to your opponent. But when you make the copy, that still counts as it entering, so that would trigger this effect. That would trigger Titan's effect to mill 5 cards. It's hot. And then if your opponent has anything you want to steal from their graveyard, it feels fantastic. So I built the deck as a black-green self-mill deck with many ways to revive cards out of the discard early, so I don't have to pay these ridiculous mana costs. So we're gonna talk about the build, and then we're gonna go jump into a game. Kind of like what I used to do. I do with my Yu-Gi-Oh! And Cardfight Vanguard videos, but now we're here on Magic the Gathering. So, if you guys enjoy this kind of content and want to see more Magic the Gathering on the channel, drop a like, subscribe. I actually have a black-blue version of this that I'm tweaking, and if I'm really gonna jump into this, guys, I need you guys to support me. I need to see the love. But enough for me. Let's talk about the deck. So we're gonna go from left to right, going from our low drop stuff to our lands. First off, we got Cecil the Dark Knight. This card's a monster for a 1-drop. It's 1 black, 2/3, has Death Touch, so nobody wants to swing into him. And since he's a 1-drop that has 3 toughness, he can deal with he can take a lot of hits. But what he does is Darkness. So Darkness is funny because in the Final Fantasy side of it, Darkness is a attack in Final Fantasy across the board. It's on all of them, where it does a crazy amount of damage, but it uses your life as a resource, so it hurts you to deal out a lot of damage. And in how they translated that to Magic the Gathering, whenever Cecil deals damage, you lose that much life. See? But for anybody that doesn't know, this applies to damage to a player or to another creature. Then, if your life total is less than or equal to half of your starting life total, which is 20, so 10, untap Cecil and transform it, and it becomes Cecil Redeemed Paladin. So in Final Fantasy IV, Cecil starts off as a Dark Knight, and as you play through the game, he ends up becoming a Paladin. But Cecil as a Paladin is a 4/4 with Lifelink and Protect. Whenever Cecil attacks, other creatures gain indestructible till end of turn. Great for protecting your dudes, and Lifelink just great to get all that health back that you burned up. He's just the thing about him is he's an amazing early game card to kind of slow the game down, because you want to get to turn 4, turn 5 to start getting cheating out those big guys. Valgavoth's Faithful, another 1-drop, 1 black. He's a 1/1. We don't care about his stats. What we care about is that effect of his. ability. He costs 1 black and 3 of anything. Sacrifice this creature. Return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. For anybody that doesn't know, sorceries are like normal spell cards in Magic or order cards in Cardfight Vanguard. You can only do them like during the main phase. Most other abilities in Magic you can actually use at instant speed unless like this it specifies. So basically, you pay 4 mana. You get to get any dude back from your drop. You get rid of him, any dude, literally any dude. It doesn't matter the cost, doesn't matter the power, doesn't matter what it is. If it's in your drop, get it back. Drop. Sorry, I'm used to saying drop zone from Cardfight Vanguard, but in Magic it's the graveyard, just like Yu-Gi-Oh. All right, Appoint with Affliction. This card is one of basically spot removal. It costs 1 black, 1 of anything. It's an instant. Exiles target creature that is 3 mana or less. There's a lot of really annoying cards in the game that get effects when destroyed, but exile is like banish, so it's just gone. We don't really care about the corrupted effect that has to do with poison counters. We're not playing poison counters. This was actually the inspiration for the deck, Anouk Wayfarer, because originally the deck started off as a mono black, where I would use cards to send specific ones, but it was annoying because they'd have to survive the battle, and like my opponent would never let it happen, so I had to figure out another way around it. But Anouk Wayfarer, when this creature enters, you mill 3 cards, you put a land from among the cards to your hand, and if you didn't, it gets a +1/+1 counter. I was running into issues in the mono black version where if I got mana screwed, I didn't see enough lands, I would just lose. Then I'd have to get a nice balance of creatures and sorceries to lands. With this, cards like this help fix that. Where I get to mill 3, which is filling up my graveyard for what I'm trying to do, and get me lands to play on the following turns. If I happen not to hit a land, he becomes a 2/2. So yeah, good card. Dregger's Insight. This is probably my GOAT. I fucking love this card. It's an enchantment. Basically, it just sits on the board continuous. Costs like 1 green, 1 of anything. When 1 of you or more of your artifacts and or creature cards leaves your graveyard, you gain 1 life. This means for anything. If it's exiled, if it's revived, if it's added back to hand, you get to gain a life. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot until you start removing creatures every single turn or 2 creatures a turn. Then it really adds up. I've like barely survived games because of this and come back and won. But what it actually does on play, when it enters, you mill 4 cards and then you put an artifact, creature, or land from among the mill cards to your hand. So I can grab a land to keep on building up. I can grab a creature card, or I can grab an artifact for more setup. All right, this one is kind of my gimmick. This shit is hilarious when it works. So say its name. This thing, it costs the same amount as Dredger's Insight, but it doesn't stay continuous on the board. You mill 3 cards. You may return a creature card or land from your graveyard to hand. It doesn't have to be among the 3 cards milled. So it gets you back anything. Already a solid card. But its second effect is why exile this card and 2 other cards named, say its name, from your graveyard. Search your deck or hand or library for a card named Altanach the Thrice Called and put it onto the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle, activate only as a sorcery. What is this card talking about? I'm gonna skip all of this, we'll go back to it, and we'll talk about Altanach the Thrice Called. This thing is a 2 green and 5 cost creature that is a 9/9. That is a big creature, and it takes forever to get out. But say its name, if you just have to get them into the discard, whether you play them or they get milled. So we have a heavy mill package, and getting 3 of these into the discard, I've done it on turn 2 and just spit out this 9/9. So he's a 9/9 with trample. For anybody that doesn't know what trample is, basically if somebody blocks it, it'll deal damage to the creature, and whatever it's left for its power will get dealt to the player. And then whenever it becomes the target of a spell or ability your opponent controls, you get to draw a card. It's also really nice because of its second effect. If you pay 1 green and 1 of anything, you discard this card, return a target land from your graveyard to the battlefield. It doesn't have to be a basic land, which basic lands have no effects. It could be a land with an effect. We'll talk about our lands in a second. But it's basically a little bit of ramp, which helps this deck out also. And it gets it into the grave, which we can either resurrect it or say its name can grab it from the grave. Now, back to the low cost cards. Now we're on to our Planeswalker, Liliana of the Veil. Really good black Planeswalker. It comes in with 3 loyalty counters. That's why the 3's on the bottom. You can add 1 loyalty counter to it to make both players discard a card. The reason we're playing 2 of her mostly is because sometimes we get our big boys in our hand, and in our hand they're almost unplayable until the really late game. So we want to get them into the graveyard so that way we can bring them back. You can minus off 2 loyalty counters to force a target player to sacrifice a creature, so you can force your opponent to sacrifice a creature. Sacrificing a creature bypasses most protections, or just about all protections, unless they like remove it from the field and bring it back. But it gets by hexproof, which means they can't be targeted. It gets by wards, which require you usually to pay an extra cost to protect to allow the creature to be affected. Like, it dodges everything. But if you hit 0 low, it's counters, your planeswalker dies. And then you can -6. You basically separate. You pick a player. You grab all their permanents. This is all their lands, all their creatures, enchantments, artifacts, whatever, and you arrange 2 piles of them. Your opponent has to pick which pile they keep. You can decide to give them 1 creature and everything else. And if it's a really important creature, they have to decide to give up that really important creature or everything else. Or you can give me like, here are all your lands, here's everything else. You can choose to keep your lands, keep playing the game, or keep the dudes you have on board. Stuff like that. So a lot of people tend to kill it before you get to 6 loyalty. For Phyrexian Arena, this is just basic draw power. 1 of anything, 2 black. It's an enchantment, so it just sits on the board at the beginning of your upkeep, which is like the start of your turn. You get to draw a card, but you lose 1 life. We have a pretty decent amount of life gain. This card has fucked me if I take too much damage, so you got to be careful with it. But that extra draw power helps you get into combo. Billow Shriek Mass. I don't super like this card, but I kind of need it. It is a black and 3 of anything. It has flying, which is the big reason we need it, because otherwise we have no defense to flying. When it enters, it mills 3, and then if you have it has threshold, which basically says if you have a certain number of cards in the graveyard, it gets +2/+1. You have to have 7 or more cards in the graveyard, and it becomes a 4/4, which ain't bad. 4/4 with flying for 4 mana, it's okay. Zombify. Here we go with the actual mechanics of the deck. We're playing 3 of these. It is a 3 and a 1. Return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. So it costs 4 mana. Bring back anything. Bring back anything. Say it again. Bring back anything. Bring back all of our big boys. I'm sorry, I also should probably mention the amount of why I'm playing certain numbers. I'm only playing 2 Cecils because he's a legendary, so you can only have 1 copy of him on the board. So I don't want to end up having him clog up my hand. Val, he's a big target. A lot of people want to kill him. I mostly have him in there, A, to waste cards, and B, because we already have so many other ways to revive, which we'll talk about in a second. So he's kind of just chilling there. A point of affliction, like I said, we're playing 3 copies of this because, like I said, there's cards we want to get rid of, especially in the early game, and there's cards we want to exile, not destroy. This gets us our mana, keeps our plays going. These are basically our setup. We're playing 4 Say Its Name because we want to get 3 of them into the drop as fast as possible to spit out the 9 drop. 2 Lilianas because we want to see her. We don't super need her, but she's a great form of removal and our way to discard for Phyrexian Arena. It hurts us. That's why we don't want to play too many of them, but we do like the extra draw power when we can get it. Billow Shriek Mass, we need a creature with flying. And Zombify, we're playing this because we have other ways to revive. That's why we're playing it at 3 and not 4, and we don't want too many of them in our hand, and we're already going to see a lot of them. This is our other way to revive, defossilize. So this one, it costs 5 instead of 4. It returns target creature from the battlefield, but then that creature gets to explore. For anybody that doesn't know how explore works, you reveal the top card of your library. If it is a land, you put it into your hand. If it is not a land, you put a 1/1 counter on the creature that you brought back. Then you can put the card back on top of the deck, or you can put it into your graveyard, and you get to do that twice. So you get to bring something back in with +2/+2, or you get a bunch of lands to hand. It's a really nice upgrade to Zombify. Deadly Cover Up. This one costs 5. This is our board wipe. At an additional cost to cast a spell, you may collect evidence, which basically means you exile cards from your graveyard whose mana cost equals 6 in total or more. You destroy all creatures, and if you collected the evidence, you get to choose a card from your opponent's graveyard, and then you get to search their hand, their field. You get to search their hand, their graveyard, and their deck for other copies of this card and exile them. So fire, and it gives you hand knowledge. So yeah, I like this card. Now let's talk about the big boys, because this is the first of the big boys. We talked about Altanak, but this is really where it gets fun. So we got Summon Titan. This is Titan from Final Fantasy 15. This one costs 2 green and 3 of anything. I've hard cast this card many times, but he's also a great target to bring back from the drop. He's a 7/7. He has Reach and Trample. Reach means he can block flying. Trample, we already talked about Trample. When he comes in, he gets a lore counter, mill 5 cards. which is great for a deck that we want to get cards into the drop. So we mill 5 cards. The second effect, though, this is where this card gets fucking crazy. People try to kill him before you get to 2 lore counters because it is monstrous. When you get your so basically you summon him, you mill 5 cards. On the following turn, when it gets another lore counter, return all lands from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Do you realize how crazy that is in a black deck? I've had games where I've had upwards of 15 mana, and I could just do anything. And then if he makes it to his 3rd turn, until the end of turn, another target creature you control, you pick one, it gets +X, where X is the number of lands you control and it gains trample. So it's basically like a big nuke, but he dies. Once they get their 3rd lore counter, most summons sacrifice themselves. Well, once they get their last lore counter, they sacrifice themselves. Now we got summon Ardyn. This is Ardyn from Final Fantasy 14, I believe. Yeah. So this one costs 2 black and 4 of anything, so it's a 6-drop. First effect is called Gungnir. Destroy target creature and opponent controls. Just straight nuke it. The second effect makes this card dirty because I've run with this effect. So this is meant for commander, but obviously we're playing it in standard. Zantetsuken. Now Zantetsuken in every Final Fantasy is an insta-kill. So they made it a fucking insta-kill. Excuse my language. This creature gains, whenever this creature deals damage to a player, that player loses the game. In Commander, normally you'd have, at least 4 players. So 1 player losing the game, there's still 2 other players you have to beat. But in a 1v1, you auto win the game. So they have to stop this attack. It's fucking dirty. And then when he gets his third lore counter, he sacrifices himself, you draw 2 cards, and each player loses 2 life. So even when he leaves, he's still fire. And then we can bring him back, pop another card, now they can go through it again. It's so good. So Massacre Worm, this one I have a love-hate relationship for. It costs 6, which is heavy, but of course we're gonna cheat it out. When this card enters, creatures your opponent controls get -2/-2 until end of turn. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, that player loses 2 life. In this game, if you go to 0 on toughness, your creature dies. So there's a lot of decks that spit out a lot of small dudes and builds them up over time. If I spit out Massacre Worm, it kills them all. And then my opponent loses 2 life for each one that dies. So strong card. Breach of the Multiverse. This is our nuke. This usually when I drop this card, I win. Sorcery. Each player mills 10 cards. For each player, choose a creature or planeswalker in that player's graveyard. Put those cards onto the battlefield under your control. Then each creature you control becomes a Phyrexian in addition to their other types. That one doesn't really matter. Basically, both players mill 10. I get to look through your graveyard, steal a dude. I get to look through my own graveyard, steal a dude. In Commander, which again has at least 4 players, you get a dude from every fucking place. Good card. We talked about Altenac. We talked about Ardyn, but basically this deck was built around Ardyn. Once I get Ardyn in the drop, he becomes the main focus of the deck because he turns everything else on, and he just keeps on getting you a free dude every single turn. Bahamut, we talked about Bahamut. Just a giant fucking beat stick. He also has flying, so he's another way to block flyers. So, but that's basically the build of the deck. Now we're going to talk about the lands real quick. We're playing 7 Swamp, 8 Forest. I leaned a little bit more into the forests. Not 100% sure why I did that. It just kind of came out that way. They came out uneven. So first up, we got Jungle's Hollow. Enters tapped, can be used for black or green. Gain a life when it's played. Restless Cottage. This one's new. I just got this, and this thing's kind of nuts. It still enters tapped, can be used for black or green. But that second effect, you can pay 1 black, 1 green, and 2 of anything. This land becomes a 4/4 black and green horror creature till end of turn. It is still a land, so if you need to pay mana with it, you still can. Whenever this land attacks, you create a food token, which food token it's right there. It can give you life. You exile up to 1 target creature from your opponent's graveyard. The cool thing is, the turn it's played, it comes in tapped, but even though it doesn't have haste, when it becomes a creature, if it was already on the board, it can still attack. So you just get a free 4/4 dude that can attack, and then it goes back to being a land. Strangled Cemetery. This is one of the okay-ish lands. This land enters tapped unless a player has 13 or less life. Add 1 black or 1 green. I need to get the fast land, which basically says if I have 2 or less lands, it comes in untapped. Mirrex. This card is dirty too. It taps for a colorless, which is fine. But basically, you get to add 1 mana of any color, activate only the turn it's played. The third effect though, you basically pay 3, tap this, so you're basically playing in 4. You create a 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Might artifact creature token with Toxic 1, and this token cannot block. The reason this is annoying is because Toxic can auto win you the game if you give your opponent 10 Toxic counters. And you can basically make these dudes over and over again. So if you don't need the mana for something else, you could just make this just to poke your opponent with, and they have to deal with it or they're gonna auto lose. Which is kind of what Restless Cottage is also for. If I don't need my mana, I could just pay 4, get a dude, swing. Promise Vein, this one could come out, but it has help now. It taps for a colorless, it doesn't come in tapped, which is nice. You pay 1, tap this land, sacrifice it, search your library for a basic land, and put it onto the battlefield. Tap basically allows us to, like, say I have a swamp, but I need 2 swamps. I can go fetch one with Promise Vein. Or say I need 2 forests, same deal. So this is the deck, that's the goal. I hope you like it. Let's go jump into a game so you guys can see what the vision was. All right, so we got our game. Our opponent's going first. I like our hand, even though we have some high cost cards and only 2 mana, we have ways to get mana and get other creatures. So we're gonna keep this. We are playing in ranked, so yes. I started off in bronze, but I've been so obsessed with playing that I'm now in gold. I'm actually gonna start off with Restless Cottage. I can't play anything turn 1. I don't have anything low enough. So I might as well play the land that comes in tapped. Next turn I'll play the forest, and I'll start off probably with Dredger's Insight, so I can start gaining life. We're playing against green. We're playing against colorless. It's Evolving Wild, so he's grabbing something. He's probably playing like the Chocobos. That's everywhere. No, we don't want you. We want the forest. Bang. Now we're gonna start off with Dredger's Insight. Start milling. 2, 3. Oh, we got Bahamut in the drop. Ooh, we got Bahamut in the drop. We're gonna grab the swamp. Bahamut in the drop is fire because we already have Zombify. And we already have 4 lands. Looking good. Yep, it is. It's the token deck. Well, they power up off of landfall. Now, I don't need 3. I don't have anything I can play for 3, so we're gonna get rid of this other tap land. And then we're gonna play Say a Name. I don't need any more mana, but I should grab Valgoth. Valagoth's Faithful. Yeah. It gets me a life, and if I need another way to revive, I have it. But yeah, we're bringing out Bahamut. Ooh, that's a really annoying card. I feel like I should pop that first. See, and that's why he has Evolving Wilds, because it lets him cheat out. Oh my god, 10. Relax. Relax. We don't like that. We do not like that at all. All right, we have a good amount of mana. All right, let's play Zombify. Get Bahamut out. Now he has to deal with Bahamut. Bahamut's gonna kill this thing. I hate this card. And now, all of a sudden, we're in control. We still have another mana to play next turn. We still have Say Its Name. Chocobo Race. Oh, he didn't play anything. He didn't play anything. Ooh, which one do I want to kill? Oh my god, I don't know which one. That one. That way he doesn't get any creatures off of it. Oh, this is going really well. All right, we're gonna start by playing the forest. We're gonna use Altanuk's effect to get another land from the drop. Ooh, mana ramp. Ooh, we still have enough to play everything. All right, we're gonna attack first. We do get a second main phase, remember. All right, so we're gonna play Valagoth's Faithful, and then we're gonna play another Say Its Name. 1, 2, 3. What do I want? Shit, we might as well just keep grabbing mana, right? All these 1-for-1s also feel really nice because it also helps us maintain hand. We only have 4 cards in hand, but we still have plenty of plays. And we got Breach the Multiverse, which is crazy. All right, and then we're gonna draw 2 cards off Bahamut this turn because he didn't kill Bahamut. I know this was supposed to be an Ardyn show off. It's supposed to be an Ardyn deck. You didn't get to see Ardyn, but I got everything I want. Oh, what do I even want to play? You know what? YOLO. Breach the Multiverse. Tell me I got my other copy of Ardyn in the grave. Hold on, I want to see my grave first. Aw, I didn't. I didn't get anything good in the grave. Well, we'll get Liliana the Veil. Oh, because I can discard Ardyn. He might quit. He might quit before, when this creature, when it land, you can. Ooh, I want that. I'll discard a card and make him discard a card. Bye, Ardyn. We love you. And then I can use Valgoth's Faithful to bring it back next turn. You like that? I like that a lot. He's got 2 life left. What's he gonna do? Come on, don't quit. Let me enjoy this. Let me enjoy. Let me bring out Ardyn. Oh, he's still playing. Word. This is awesome. I'm so glad that this worked out so beautifully. Oh shit, he's Chocobo kicking the monster. No way he's about to kill me. Okay, he's not, thank God. I literally thought I was about to die. Okay, you can have Liliana. Bye, honey. Planeswalkers are a big magnet for attacks. It's a great way to get your opponent to swing at you. And he just died. He just died. I forget about Bahamut's effect. So I can't show you my hand, but obviously we would have played a mana. We still could have played a Bahamut. Massacre Worm, we now had enough for that. We could play Titan. I was gonna Valagoth's Faithful to bring back Ardyn, which would have brought back Bahamut. Like, I had so many plays and it just felt so fucking good, and we had so much mana. And I don't remember what my life total was, but I know I still have a lot of life. All right, guys, here's one more look at the deck. My bad, I should have moved my head so you could see a little bit better all the things that I had. Next time, I'll make sure I move my camera. But you got to see exactly what I was going for with the deck, and man, did that feel good. And oh, the nastiness I was about to do on the following turn. And you saw I also had 2 Say the Names in the grave, 1 more, and I would have been able to spit out Altenac for free while also bringing back all my other stuff. But this is really what I wanted the deck to do. Turn 4 is really where it just goes off. It does get rushed out by some red decks, some blue decks, and if you don't draw into like Massacre Worm, token decks like white, red, white, and stuff like that, it can be a little bit of a pain. But once the deck gets going, it just steamrolls. It just snowballs so much. But if you guys know any way I can improve this, my Magic players, let me know down in the comments. Again, I'm still new to this. I'm still messing with other cards. I do have enough wild cards to get a Mythic, and I have a bunch of, I'm about to buy some more packs, so I'll probably get some more wild cards there. So let me know if there's things you think I need to craft. Also, let me know what lands you think I should 100% add, because I want to make this as good as possible, and then I need to start working on the blue variant, because the blue variant does the same similar thing, but instead of getting you creatures and lands, it gets you instants and sorceries, which gets us into enchantments. So it gets us into our draws, it gets us into our revivals. It does its own version of this thing, and it's a little bit slower, but it's still just as fun. Anyway, guys, that's it. Want to check me out on social media? Those links are down below. If you guys want to see me play some Arena live, let me know in the comments, and I can set up a stream really, really easily. I actually have a buddy of mine who plays Magic and plays Arena, and I could get a bunch of people on here. It could have a grand old time. That's going to be it from me. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later. In my eyes, I was born for this. I got demons on my side, you ain't right like this. I got reason to believe I don't need it from my gifts. Only I can change the world and it go like this.